Thank you for staying with me. I'm Philip Omogupon. It's TMI Tuesday, and the crux for discuss is on countdown to EDO 2020, making polls credible in Edo State, as we barely have 4 days to really usher us into the election day proper. And joining me in this discussion at my immediate left, I have former Executive Director, Public Affairs and Social Media in the office of the Edo State Governor, and also former Deputy Director in charge of Communication, Media and Publicity, Godwin Obaseki Campaign Organization, a chieftain of the PDP, and also Chairman Heritage Farmers. I won't miss that at all. And it's Prince Gregory Ogiogwa. Thanks for coming, Prince.
Thank you. Good morning, Edo people. Good morning.
And next, I have an articulate legal practitioner, also of the Progressives Congress, and he is Daniel Ogbegia. Thanks for coming, Daniel. All right. So we had a stakeholders meeting yesterday, it involving the INEC officials, top officials of the security agencies, and of course we also had that of the media, traditional institutions, religious institutions, governorship candidates, representative of the political parties, all in that meeting. And the issues discussed basically was to address the issue of peaceful and credible polls come September 19. Prince Gregory Ogiogwa, what do you make of that meeting?
Well, definitely, I mean, it's the right way to go.
Okay.
It's the right way to go. For real, elections are not a war. You know, elections is about democracy.
Yeah.
It's about the free will of the people. And it is not a war.
Okay.
We shouldn't have any violence or any intimidation or oppression with electoral processes. So it's a step in the right direction. But it goes well beyond just talking. You know, we should also look at the body language of the people who are talking.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to just mouth the words. It's another thing to actually walk the talk. Now, we basically are confident. Free, fair elections, Godwin Obaseki will win hands down. We know that as a fact. As a result of the polls that we have been doing, opinion polls, surveys, and I know that the opposition too have been doing their own opinion polls too. And so the facts are already relatively glaring, you know. You can use as an example the Channels television poll, you know, on the debate. You could see very, very clearly what direction it is going. And so we're pretty confident. And all we're looking for is a level playing field, peace and calm in the land during that period, and then the issue of police intimidation. Because over the last couple of days, we saw armored personnel carriers, you know, brought into the state by the Imo State governor. I mean, with truckloads of policemen and
okay. Thank you. I think I have to pause you there. And this is also a call to action that whatever opinions raised here are the opinions of the makers and not that of independent television. And there is need for us to also be very, very civil. We don't have to do name calling, and we don't have to castigate any party in question. Concerning the free and fair polls, it's left for the electorate to decide, and we can't tell who wins the day until the election day proper. So please, let's be guarded. Okay, Daniel okay, thank you. What's the perception about the stakeholders meeting yesterday?
Yeah, well, I think it was an exercise in the right direction, and it was a welcome development. The Inspector General of Police, you know, had admonished political actors in Edo State to abide by the Electoral Act and the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria. Election is not war. It is just a periodic election to either change a non-performing governor or to extend his tenure. He was elected for 4 years. So it is left for the people to decide if he had done well enough to merit a return, or if he has not done as well as he promised, so that they kick him out.
Be careful the word you use, please. Be careful. I did say, let's be careful the word we use, because you are making reference to the excellency of the governor of the state. So you should be civil, please. Let's ensure that, please.
Nobody, no governor is above the people, and that's the reason why a governor spends 4 years and thereafter presents himself again to be re-elected or not to be re-elected. So the people are the supreme authority in a democracy. We have to understand that.
Thank you.
And before we go even much further, I would like you to caution Prince Greg Ogogwa to be very mindful of the language we use today.
I think we better have...
yes, okay. so that you be careful not to make wide, spurious allegations. He made a statement just now that the governor of Imo State brought in police.
I think we shouldn't talk about that, because exactly why I cut in.
He ought to retract it.
Exactly why I cut in.
No, he ought to retract it. The reason is that the governor of Imo State does not control the Nigerian police. The Inspector General of the Inspector General police controls the Nigerian police. So it's a wide, spurious allegation. A person of his standing shouldn't come on
for the argument not to go away from the focus. I think we should just stay objective. I think we may not have the time to go on this slide, but I think you should be guided, like I did say.
But facts are facts.
Okay, but you should be guided with this. That is not the basis of the discussion. No. This is coming up because we have barely few days to the election, and tempers could be rising, and we have had accusations, counter accusations, and condemnations on the statement credited to the APC Edo State Chapter Factional Chairman, Imose, Colonel David Imose, where it was stated that as alleged that the state, Akwa Ibom State Rec, Mike Guinea, is conniving with the governor of Edo State in rigging the election in favor of the PDP. What do you make of these condemnations, counter accusations? Greg.
It's the APC looking for an excuse to lose the election. You know, it's called a justificatory apology in advance. What does Mikey Guinea from Akwa Ibom State have to do with elections in Edo State? What does he have to do with elections in Edo State? What these people are doing is trying to undermine the integrity of the electoral system. Just like you said just now, the whole purpose of this is to enhance the credibility of the polls, enhance the credibility of the institutions that are in charge of the polls, so that people will have faith in our democratic process. There will be faith in the integrity of the elections. Now, what they are doing, because as a result, I even challenge them to bring out the results of their polls, and you will see, because they know they are going to lose the elections, they are beginning to try and undermine the integrity of INEC and the character of Mikey Guinea. What does Mikey Guinea from Akwa Ibom? How can he determine who is going to win elections in Edo State? It is laughable. And to go further, Imoise is not chairman of APC under the law. I mean, we all follow, we have followed the processes so far. And so Jeswa is the chairman of APC. So Imoise is just an ordinary APC person stating a wild fantasy, a justificatory apology in advance for an election that they're going to lose. They know they're going to lose it. Then they're going to turn around and say, well, INEC, it was Mikey Guinea from Akwa Ibom who came to connive with the governor of Edo State to help the governor win an election. It is, if it wasn't that it was so absurd, if it wasn't that it was in the extremes, in the realms of absurdity, it would be funny. It will be really, really funny. It is the height of desperation when you see that they no longer have anything to hold on to.
Okay,
they tried every single thing.
But when these accusations and counter-accusations are coming, there is this fear that even amidst the pandemic, that it could bring about voter apathy. Aren't you worried about that?
Yes, we are as much as possible encouraging people to come out and not to give in to any type of intimidation. Whether it is the threat of violence, or whether it is the threat that of federal might, or that their votes won't count, all that is not going to happen. Elections have evolved, thankfully. And Edo State is a relatively politically sophisticated society. So our people are not stupid. You have seen the sophistication in which our electorate determine in which direction they go from time to time. You have seen us vote in one way at national elections and in another way at state elections. So it shows you that there's a certain political sophistication that our people have. And so we're not worried really, but as much as possible, we want to encourage the people to come out to vote, to know that it is safe to vote and that their own votes are safe.
Okay, thank you. Daniel, let's look at the accusations, counter-accusations as relates to the Akwa Ibom wreck.
The accusations have always come from their side. Like he accused the police of being biased, that a governor of another state is bringing the police to influence the system. The police is just doing that job.
He accused the police of being biased. Is that what he said?
He said the governor.
I'll give you room to clear the air. He has the floor.
He said the governor for Imo State brought in police with armor tank. So that means the governor is already influencing the police. That's what he's trying to say. And they have severally also, they've led protests to say that President Muhammadu Buhari must allow free and fair election. Muhammadu Buhari has lost election in this state before. As he noted, the EDO people have always voted for the APC in the governorship elections and have voted for the PDP in the presidential election. This is the governorship election, and of course, it's going to go one way. He knows he's from Esako Central Local Government. Ask him if he can win his local government. Of course, he cannot. He can never win his village. But they will come here and grandstand. He talked about online polls just now. Online polls in Nigeria has never influenced election. Many of our people live in bucolic rural areas, so they do not even have access to the internet. They do not have access to even watch Channels TV on DSTV. You know what they did during that Channels debate? Because they have over 5,000 SSAs and SAs, they get all of them into a room, put a laptop in front of them, and they start voting away. So they always, as much as possible, influence online polls. We don't have the funds to pay assistance, but
the focus is not on that debate. The focus is not on that debate.
It was the statement that he made that he was talking about back to online polls. Back to the now, the point I want to make is very clear. The people that have precipitated violence in this election in the last 1 year and 4 months have always been from their side. You recall in 2019 where there was a non-turner, or to break it down, where there was an inauguration of the House of Assembly at night. It has never happened anywhere in the world. Obaseki led an inauguration of the House of Assembly at night, and when the members-elect who were excluded from the inauguration went to address a press conference at a hotel in Benin City, they led thugs to attack them, and they shot guns under the cover of the Nigerian police. So they've always precipitated that kind of violence, and they drove these people away from Edo State until they were able to come back. You recall when Pastor Sergei Zeyamu was coming to the APC, they led thugs to make sure that he did not come to the APC. The people from their side have always precipitated violence. They make sure that some members of the Day of Assembly were inaugurated last year, and when those ones were going to address a press conference the next day, they sent talks to go and beat them up to disrupt their press conference. You recall that when Pastor Sergei Zeyamu was coming to the APC, they made sure that he did not come. They led talks to destroy the places they were supposed to be used. Talks were at Airport Road, Sapele Road, beating up innocent Edo people.
Okay,
and let's recall that this same Godwin Obaseki made several threats that because his second term ambition was non-negotiable, he was demanding with a menace that he must get it. So since then,
you are a barrister. And I think we should be careful.
Now, when he said, I'm quoting what he said on national TV, that his second term ambition was non-negotiable, and because of that, he has been doing everything humanly possible. Let's guide this discourse. You still have the floor. Yes. You still have the floor.
Yes. Let's guide this discourse.
Yes.
Now, if tempers are rising this way, you are a barrister, you are a legal practitioner, the custodian of the law, and we have a section of the Electoral Act, particularly Section 53, which prohibits the electoral umpire INEC from declaring results in places of violence.
Yes.
Now, do you think these accusations, counter accusations, could hit up to a point where there could be voter apathy? Aren't you worried about
it? It is
that?
very possible, and I think that's what they are trying to get, because they know that the governor has become increasingly unpopular, so they are trying to scare the voters from going to vote. And many voters are already saying it, that they will not go and vote. They want to scare the voters so that they can bring in their talks as you are and right results. But we are telling Edo people to go and vote. We have 31,000 policemen in Edo State right now. There will be security, there will be massive security from the police, from the DSS, and from even the soldiers. They will be on the streets of Edo. And I can tell you, you know what happened a few weeks ago? So members of their party who are thugs, who were used to distort,
like I said earlier,
yes. What the police did. Listen.
Okay, but
what the police did.
Don't use the word thugs to any party, please. Please.
Okay, let's be guarded. So members of their party who were used to disrupt the proceeding of the Edo State House of Assembly some time ago, I think late last month, were arrested by the Nigerian police force. 7 of them. And when they were quizzed, they confessed that a senior member of the Obaseki government.
Okay, but this is not a basis for this.
The police are just press conference.
But can't we keep that?
Can't we keep that Kabiru Ajoto?
Can't we keep that? Can't we keep that? Because it raised sentiments, and the purpose of this discussion is not to raise sentiments. Okay, but we can address that. We can address that.
I'm telling you that if it is coming from one source,
okay,
we must situate blame where there is blame. Okay. And the point is that because Obaseki knows that it's very unpopular with the Edo people, so they are doing everything possible to drive violence, and so that people will not come and vote, and they will go and resolve.
Before I ask you the next question, Prince Greg Okegwa, I give you some time
to appreciate that if you allow me to make my point.
Yeah, you make a point.
Yeah,
you make a point. But what I earlier spelled out, there are rules to this discussion. I'm the referee, and being the anchor person, I'm the referee. So I give the rules. Yeah,
I will not make any allegation of any negative allegation that is not in the public domain. What do you call people who go and destroy the proceeding of the Edo State House of Assembly? What name can you call them? And those were found with them, and the police investigated them, asked them questions, and discovered they were court members.
Okay, thank you.
And they confessed Kabiru Ajoto.
Thank you. No name calling, please. No name calling, please.
The police made this point.
Well, I think
the police said.
I think we should be gentlemanly. Let us know that as we are discussing, we are educating the viewers already. We are educating the viewers. I earlier said that we should not mention names for the purpose of castigating the personalities.
But people were arrested.
You can mention names, but not to the point of castigating the personality of the other party. Let's hear your reaction to these allegations.
Well, okay, the first thing is this. When I spoke about the governor of Imo State, I did not say he used the police to come and influence elections in Edo State. The governor of Imo State came to Edo State, and he came with his his personal security detail. And part of his personal security detail is an armored personnel carrier. So if he came with 10 truckloads of policemen to secure him, to protect him, that is what I said. And I stand by it, and we have pictures and videos to show it. So that's what I said about that. Now, about the matter of violence and voter apathy, we've gone well beyond that. We've gone well beyond that. There's a certain ethos, there's a certain characteristic that you can see amongst the the principals of both parties. Certain characteristics, certain records, certain histories, certain reputations. So it's very obvious, it's clear for the people to see. You can see from the verbosity and the aggressive indirection of the opposition.
Okay, I think you've articulated that point enough.
So what I'm trying
so that we guard against anything that would hurt the emotions of viewers, please.
So you can see that. And because of that, we are focused.
Okay.
We're very focused. We know what Mr. Governor has achieved. We know what Edo people want. And we know that it is it's a basic ingredient for our progress.
Okay, your time is up for that reaction. The next question I want to ask you is concerning the deployment of national commissioners and other state recs to Edo State for the election in order to add to the synergy of the resident electoral commissioner, Sinikem. in having a free and fair poll. What do you make of this development? Is it right?
Yeah, it is. It's perfect. You know, the more hands that you can have, the better.
Okay.
You know, so that we can delegate, you can reduce the amount of work that the people on ground have to do. If you can delegate and share the work, it will be done faster, quicker, and hopefully we will have our results in a couple of hours.
Okay.
So there's nothing on the surface. On the surface of it, there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, so welcome development.
Yes,
okay, let's take a bite on that development of the National Commissioners.
Good welcome development. As you said, I mean, the more you have more hands, the more you have a better outcome. So I think it's a welcome development, but something I need to quickly react to, because he said that they know the achievement of Godwin Obaseki. What are his achievements compared to his predecessor? Godwin Obaseki campaigned on the promise of continuity.
You asked the question.
His single agenda.
You asked the question.
Excuse me, sir. I'm here. I'm talking.
No. He has the floor. He has the floor. There's nothing wrong if he wants to react to what you said.
I did not. I'm not asking you.
No. Let him speak.
I'm not asking you, please.
Go ahead.
Godwin Obaseki campaigned on the nebulous agenda of continuity. How well has he done? Because he must be judged on his campaign promises of 2016. Gregor Gogwa was here in this studio or the other one. We were here together many times, and he campaigned that Godwin Obaseki's agenda was continuity. How well has he continued with the projects, programs, and policies of? No, please excuse me. How well has he continued with his project, programs, and policies of his predecessor? He has failed in those areas, and how? I will explain.
You are asking the question, and you are also judging. Yes.
I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
It's a rhetorical question, please.
Okay, but no, this again is causing ripples.
I have the floor in that direction. The point has he done well?
Yes.
We must judge him based on his campaign promises. Go ahead. First of all, the man said the man ran on the agenda of continuity, but he failed woefully on the agenda. How did he fail? First of all, this Benin Stormwater project. Gregor Gogwa was here. He said that they completed stage 1 of the stormwater project, and that they were going to do in stages, stage 2 and stage 3. So it meant that Godwin Obaseki was supposed to continue with stage 2, and probably another governor will continue with stage 3. But did he continue? He completely stopped that project. That's the reason why anytime it rains in Benin, just a shower in Benin, everywhere is flooded, and there will be traffic jam everywhere. Yesterday I was on this ITV. Before I got to it was 10 o'clock. Everywhere was completely blocked. Godwin Obaseki for 4 years has not deseated any gutter in Benin. Has not deseated. What I mean by deseat is, to remove blockages from gutters in Benin. That's the reason why when it rains, everywhere is completely flooded. Godwin Obaseki, when he came, the street lights in Benin stopped working immediately. The street lights on Ababa, on Saple Road, on Airport Road, they stopped working for 3.5 years. It was just in August this year, because of the election, they went to put on the street light. What was he doing for all of those times? Godwin Obaseki, when he was coming, he promised that we build a seaport in Gelegele within the first term, because he was elected for a one-term period, 4 years. He campaigned with it, and when he started, he went to do some things in that place. But as we speak, there's nothing going on in that place. Okay, thank you. Apart from a signboard that was put there. Thank you. You've established your point. You need to establish the fact that the man has completely failed. His roads don't stand the test of time. Okay, can you react to it? Just one rainfall. Thank you. You've made a point. You've made your point. You've made a point. You've made a point. The road that was done, Magba road that was done, has completely failed, and it was done this year. Daniel Bege, you've made a point. Let him react to that.
Point out something to you. You see, this is very characteristic of the opposition. Their level of ignorance and
if it's negative. I didn't call him that if it's negative.
What I was going to say is ignorant of technical facts. For example, the Benin Stormwater project that he's talking about is a 15-year project. 15 years.
Okay, so he's
hold on now.
He has the floor. Let him finish, please.
He stopped it in 4 years. It's a 15-year project, right? Now, there are parts of that project that require what you call land reclamation, which means that you must allow the land to settle and grass to grow
for 4 years,
so that water can be trapped inside the grass. The purpose of that is to reclaim the land. So you have different phases of this Benin Storm project that are like that. There's some places where they put big boulders, then they put smaller rocks and smaller stones, and then pebbles, so that it slows down the flow of water, and then it comes to a trickle, then grass can start to grow.
So what was done on that project for 4 years?
So you are trying to explain the delay for that?
I'm trying to explain to you that there are times that you might see part of the project and you think it has been abandoned. That is actually part of the process of allowing the grass to grow so that it can absorb water. Now, having said so, I want to now go on and talk about Godwin Obaseki's achievements, since he asked the questions. And I will use their own agenda to answer the questions of what Obaseki has achieved. I will start with the E, which is the empowerment and employment that they are talking about. Obaseki has, what we know, formally create at EDO jobs, 157,000 jobs, formally. Then there are spin-offs. I am a perfect example. In the last 3 years, my firm had, 3 years ago, in 2016, we had 4 staff. We have 23 now. We have a tractor, and we have a tractor driver. And we have people who are now repairing...
You have evidence that's within your own knowledge. Nobody's aware of that.
He has the floor. Let him finish.
We now have diesel mechanics who are now repairing tractor engines all over the state. So you see, that target of 200,000 jobs has very easily been exceeded with the 157,000 that we know EDO jobs has created, and then we pull off, and even the massive recruitment of health workers during this COVID-19.
Okay.
So that was
E. You made mention of E.
Yeah. Now the L, leadership by example. Now, it is one area I don't like to really go into because I know both people. I know the APC candidate, and I know Mr. Godwin Obaseki. And I leave people, to make up their minds about leadership style. And I ask them to follow what Comrade Oshomole said, who knew both of them and worked with both of them in 2016. That's M. Now, M. Let's go to M.
But I won't give you the time.
Which is public-private partnership. Look at everything that we have been doing. He talked about that Gele seaport is not working. You need to go there. First of all, you know that ports are under the federal mandate.
You didn't know that.
You need to work with the federal authorities. It was Goodluck Jonathan who came to commission Gele ports under Adams Oshomole, and Obaredia was present at that time. And this was in 2012. From 2012 to 2016, nothing happened there until 2016 when Governor Obaseki came in, and working with the Chinese firm PNC, they have just signed a memorandum of understanding. The dredging of the canal has started from Ondo State because you have to dredge the canal and make the berth deeper for vessels to be able to come in. Even the vessels that are going to carry the equipment and the materials that you need to build the ports, you have to first dredge the canal. That is what is going on there now. Now, that's public-private partnership. Then M, manpower development. In that same Ulubu, where they're building a modular refinery, 87% complete or 85% completed. They are now building a school of petroleum engineering in conjunction with Ambosali University, developing local manpower to be able to run that industry when it is set up. That's M. I, which was industrialization. Everything from Olobo Industrial Park, the innovative hub, the production unit, name it. We have a Chinese firm now in Sabongida that is producing particle board for export.
Okay.
Employing over 500 people. Then S, security. Look at Wazabigan. Wabazigan. Look at that.
You've articulated a point.
Yeah, look at that innovative.
Thank you.
So you can see that every single thing that they are wishing.
I think
what they have is a wish list.
I think for the purpose of moving forward, this is what I would call a digression because we are not really talking about achievements, but to look at the election day proper. But now that you've said that, I wouldn't say if you have a reaction.
Of course I do.
Then we will move forward.
Plenty. And I just hope
I give you 1 minute to react.
I hope
just 1 minute.
I'm able to
I have the next question. I have the next question for you.
Yes, but he had a lot of time to make his point that were very, I won't call them baseless.
Yeah, because you had time to also speak on that.
But
why he actually reacts.
The person made a force. For example, to start with security. security situation in Edo State, insecurity in Edo State has never been as high as we have it under Godwin Obaseki. If Godwin Obaseki receives 600 million every month, how much does he give to the Nigerian police? Just 5 million. How much does he give to the DSS? Nothing, zero. Because he wrote to the DSS, please, sir.
Well, you said if, so I want to believe that all of this, we can't really verify them.
Every month.
We can't verify them.
No, it's there in the budget.
We can't verify them.
The budget is a public document. And we have made that point several times, but the Obaseki has never debunked it. He has never debunked it. He used to get 500 million, then he jetted it up last year. Now he gives the police 5 million. How can the police work with 5 million for the entire state? And no single police facility. Edo State does not have a tracking device. Edo State insecurity in Edo State is poor. He does not give the DSS anything at all from that security vote. Then if you even look ahead, no single person has been employed. The employment he talked about in the health sector, no single person has been employed. I'm making the point, he knows that it's true. The employment he talked about in the health sector was during the COVID-19, and those were engaged, they were ad hoc workers, health workers. They were engaged.
If you say no single person has been employed, do you mean as of today?
Has been employed as of today.
No single
medical doctor has been employed in any Edo State public hospital in the last 4 years of Godwin Obaseki. No single nurse has been employed. I'm making the point on national TV. I think this will go on and on. I think this will go on and on, please. Excuse me, sir. He talked about employment.
Can we wrap up on this idea?
He talked about employment during the COVID-19. The people that were engaged during the COVID-19, the doctors and health workers that were engaged for 3 months, they were not paid. That Godwin Obaseki, and they protested. Why did they protest? They protested. They were not paid. They were not paid a dime, and they protested.
I don't have the right panelists for all of this you are saying, because if you are raising this, there is need for me to also get their reaction. So I don't have enough. I don't have the right panelists. So let's leave that place.
He made.
Okay, thank you.
When he talked about education, is a complete fiasco.
Okay, thank you.
The State University, AAU, was getting about 300 million subvention under Adafo Shomole. But the government came and reduced it to less than 90 million. And that is the reason why he went to Ekpoma to campaign. He could not even enter that school because the staff, the lecturers there, they are angry with him. They are not happy. He told them to increase school fees. If the government comes for a second term, the school fees of Abu Dhabi University will be increased.
You've articulated the point.
You've articulated the point. From that institution, we are very passionate about that place.
You've articulated the point.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, let's move forward. In case you're just watching, it's TMI Tuesday. And we are on the topic, Countdown to Edo 2020, barely 4 days, and how to make the polls possible, credible polls possible. And I've been discussing with Prince Gregor Gyogwa, who is a chieftain of the PDP, and of course also with Daniel Ogbegie, a politician of the APC, and also a legal practitioner. Well, I like this quietness. Let's just maintain it. Now, back to you. You still have the floor. You still have the floor.
Exactly.
Yes, you still have the floor. Now,
going back to let's look.
But thank God you now see that I said you still have the floor. Let's look at the statement of the leadership of INEC, where he did say that no PVC, no voting.
Of course.
And the impression that, well, if the PVC fails to malfunction, there will be the incidents form, but what the INEC said cleared doubts over the use or non-usage of the incidents forms. What do you make of that?
Well, if it is the electoral act that if a PVC malfunctions, it is not the fault of the voter that the PVC malfunctions. It will just be the machine that is going to be used to screen the PVC. So if it malfunctions, that is not my fault. So that's the reason why they said, okay, if it malfunctions, there will be an incident form. If the name of the person is on the register, and if the picture of the person shows, and they put it malfunctions, it is not my fault. So I don't think there should be a resort to that.
Okay.
They should follow what they've always been doing. I've been voting for some time now, and I know that what they do is that once the PVC does not read, then they will fill an incident form and the person will vote. So if maybe, okay, how about if the machine itself, what do they call it?
The card reader, the smart card reader.
Yes, the card reader.
Which
if it malfunction,
which at present has been configured according to the INEC.
Yeah, if it malfunctions for a whole unit, does it mean that the people of that unit will not be able to vote? Then that would be an invitation to chaos and disorderliness.
So what you are saying is that the use of incidence form,
of course, it has always been like that.
Greeted.
Yes.
Okay. What do you make of this, Greg?
I agree. Because, there are lots of moving parts in this process. And when you have a lot of moving parts like that, something can go wrong. And when it does, you should be flexible enough to be able to override that part of the process that has gone wrong. So yes, it makes sense.
Okay, you still have the floor, Greg Ogogwa. There's this whole aspect of vote of menace that we have been trying to stop. It came at a certain time, but we are finding it difficult to really nip it in the bud. What do you make of the aspect of vote buying? Because we don't want it in this present poll for Saturday this week. Do you think a lot can be done to nip this in the bud?
Oh yes, and we already have a mechanism in place to be able to monitor. We also have, we know that the observers, international observers and election monitors are going to be around. So we have a mechanism in place already, an apparatus in place to be able to make sure that that doesn't happen. We also know, it's something that the political class has to come to cognizance of, that vote buying is unsustainable. It's not sustainable. How many people are you going to bribe? How much money is it going to cost? And then what is the purpose of buying power? If you spend 3 billion bribing your electorate to vote, that money has got to come back from somewhere. That's the money that would have gone into building schools, hospitals, roads, and looking after social infrastructure. You see? So it is not sustainable. Vote buying is not sustainable. Now, one thing that we have going for us is the fact that we have proof of concept. We can point to and say, this is what we've done. Therefore, vote us a second term. We have evidence. And it is not, ours is not a wish list. We're not saying we will do this or we will do that. We are saying this is what we have done so far, and this is the trajectory. This is the direction in which we are moving. And we will continue to move in that direction over the next 4 years, and thereby laying a foundation for a very prosperous and economically autonomous Edo State that will have an independent economy, free from the overarching influences and restrictions of the Nigerian economy. That is the aim of making Edo great again. And we are on that trajectory, we are on that path. So we're pretty confident that we don't have to buy votes. We don't need to buy votes. Okay. We don't intend to buy votes. We're allowing, the proof of concept, our concepts and the proof of what we have done. We're allowing that to speak for us, and we're saying, this is the trajectory. If you follow what's our plans, making Edo great again is our destination.
Okay, you just said it, and what do you make of this, Daniel Ogbegi?
Yes, I will say the same thing.
Okay.
That, of course, we cannot encourage vote buying because it's unsustainable. Our people have to be educated to know that people that buy their vote are going to get the money back somehow, in some way. And that was why when the news came out in June that Godwin Obaseki spent well over 8 billion to purchase.
I think again I have to cut in. Again, I have to cut in. Let's not mention figures, please. Let's not mention figures, please. I'm sorry about that. Let's just be objective. Can we do that?
I'm objective. Okay. I said when the information, whether it was correct or not,
leave that aspect. You don't need to say it.
Because when you talk about vote buying, it starts from the primaries itself. And if certain persons who were aspirants in the PDP and they were very serious, for instance, Gideon Hine said, God revealed to him. No, I said that's what he said. No, please. No, I have the floor. No, they are not here, but they might be listening, they might be watching at all. No, that was his campaign. His campaign was
wait, let him speak. I don't think he has anything to say. He's saying anything negative about it.
Public domain.
No. What do you say about that?
Yes.
No. What do you mean?
This person said this. That's hearsay.
No, there's no hearsay in the public domain. He got a press interviews. He said that God told him that he was going to be governor and he should contest. He even told me when he was trying to woo me, they were in the PDP, that God told him that he should contest.
Back to the question. Let's be objective.
If people like that, who were very passionate about becoming governor, if Honorable Bede Hama, who was very passionate about becoming governor, could step down, then that was why they gave rise to rumor that they were bought and the PDP ticket was bought.
No. We are not talking about that. We are talking about vote buying. So you don't need to say that. You don't need to say that.
No, vote buying in the general election, but there's also vote buying during primaries. So we must start from all of that, because democracy works right from the primaries. Democracy works. If there is no democracy, if there's no eternal democracy in the political party, it will be hard for you to have eternal democracy external democracy. It is very difficult. So the point I want to make to Edo people, anyone who buys their vote is going to get the money back. If you spend 5 billion or 3 billion, as the case may be, they will first of all get that money back. Not even that money. They will get it maybe like times 2 or times 3 before they do anything at all. So people come to you to give you money to vote for them. Reject it. Vote for your conscience. Vote for the person that will institutionalize a new righteous order of political leadership that is anchored on competence, anchored on righteousness, anchored on sincerity and respect for elders and
thank you. What are your expectations for INEC in making sure that we have a free and fair poll come Saturday? Is just this week Saturday?
Well, I believe that they will live up to the standard that we have set for them, which is relatively high. My belief, because I'm an eternal optimist, my belief is that they will live up to those standards, that we will see a free, fair, and credible election. And I hope, as much as possible, that is the case.
Okay, let's look at undue interference from the center and power play.
Well, I do hope that Mr. President will not make the mistake of trying to interfere. I do hope that he will remain and do what Goodluck Jonathan did in 2012. Because if you remember that Edo State was opposition in 2012 against the federal government, and we still won the elections here. And so I'm hoping that President Buhari would also emulate Goodluck Jonathan and allow, the free will of the people to rule. I have a good feeling that he will do that. I'm not worried about intimidation or oppression, because the will of the people ultimately will determine the outcome of that election. And it's pretty obvious what the will of the people is and where the will of the people is pointing to.
Okay.
So we are in a good place.
Okay.
Yes, I think the election will be relatively free and fair, but I must warn that there's hardly a place anywhere in the world where elections are completely free and fair. There will be, if you are going to have undue influence over certain voters, if you are going to be involved in vote buying, then that is not that election can't be said to be 100% free and fair. I want to encourage the people to go out and vote. Of course, the president is a member of the APC. He will want the APC to definitely win in Edo State. He will interfere not in a way that is illegal, but he will interfere in the sense that he is going to talk to people who are also his friends here, people who believe in him, to vote for the APC. And I know that Edo people, they are not even looking at parties. They will look at the individual, what they have to offer, and from their history, from their connection with them, they will vote for that candidate that's been able to connect with them over the years. That candidate who is their friend, that candidate who comes to their party, that candidate who has commiserated with them several times, that candidate who is one with them, not the one that will take those jobs to Lagos. They will vote for a homeboy who is known to them. And in this election, there are two homeboys. For instance, Adam Shomole, when he was governor, he did pretty well in this place. I'm sure Greg Ogoga will not say he did not do well. He did very well, excellently well. And now he's supporting Pastor Sagi Ezeyamo, who is charismatic, who is popular, and who connects with the Edo people. I'm very sure that Edo people know where they're going.
Yes.
And of course, they will want Edo State to be with the party at the federal government, so that we'll have more dividends of democracy coming to us. The modular refinery that was brought here was influenced by the federal government, and I'm sure it was also because Edo State is an APC state.
Okay, you still have the floor. We remember
Yes,
vividly
thank
in
you.
2016 where the APC, the governor of the state, was the candidate,
Yes.
and he won in that election.
Yes.
And then Izeyamo was the candidate of the PDP.
Yes.
And now in 2020,
Yes.
that has changed.
Yes.
It's now the opposite.
Yes.
And we heard about reports. We saw encomiums being showered,
Yes.
you know, on these candidates,
Yes.
and also the otherwise.
Yes.
And now, what do you make of this? Don't you think this could lead to misplaced character when a statement that was formally credited, to the chairman of the APC,
Yes.
former chairman of the APC,
Yes.
going against the candidacy of the PDP candidate then, Izeyamo.
Well, you see, okay.
Now, what do you make of this change and the encomiums now being showered?
Yes, where if you know the history of Edo State, you will know that Pastor Sage Izeyamo was instrumental to the coming of Adaso Shomole as governor of Edo State. Then my big brother here was against Oshomole, then was in PDP, and he was always criticizing Oshomole. But Oshomole became governor because people like Pastor Sage Izeyamo stood for him. And I think there was probably an understanding. Maybe at some point, there were misunderstanding, and Izeyamo went to the PDP, and of course,
That gave rise to all of those statements.
Yeah, no, Oshomole brought in Godwin Obaseki, and they were campaigning. You will agree with me that Sage Izeyamo was very strong in that election, and all opinion polls were to the fact that Sage Izeyamo was going to win that election. I believe that Oshomole probably was jittery, and he needed to really market a relatively unknown candidate in Godwin Obaseki, and he needed to demarket Pastor Sage Izeyamo.
So that was the reason
And
for
he said
all
a lot
that
of things that he
drama.
said, yes.
Okay.
But he has come out to say,
that means you see that as a
he
drama.
has come out
It
to
was a
say,
drama.
No,
You-
wait, excuse me.
Okay.
He has come out to say that he was misled, that he was lied to, that people lied to him, that Sage Izeyamo did this and he did that, that he wasn't a lawyer and he wasn't a pastor, that the pastor in his name was just a title. But Edo people know that Pastor Sage Izeyamo was a lawyer. He was schoolmate with Prince Gregor Gogwa in Uniben. They were all in the same school, and I think they were friends at that time. So he knows that he was in Uniben. He was a graduate of University of Benin. He went to the Nigerian Law School. He was called to the Bar in 1987. He is also a senior pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God.
Okay.
So the things said at that time, because they were not true, Edo people discountenanced them, and they came out en masse. Of course, Godwin Obaseki won with about 50,000 votes for a party that was that had the government in Edo State and had the government and the federal. He could only win with just about 50,000 votes.
Okay, thank you. What do you make of all of this in terms of the way forward?
You see, my brother here is engaged in what is known as sophistry, which is using words to paint a picture that does not really exist. Now, I'm not going to talk about Pastor Izeyamo's character, because like he said, I know him very well. We were in Edo College together, and we were in Uniben together.
Okay, so that buttresses that fact.
So yeah, and so when he starts going on and on, the temptation is there to say, look, hey, but I will not do that. I won't do that. Because like you said, we were friends, and I still consider him a friend to an extent. So, but please be careful when you bring up people's characters, because what you're doing is that you're now opening up that person's character for investigation, for people to now interject and say, no, that's not true, and this is what I know, and this is what I know. So please don't do it again, especially when you're with me, who knows that person better than you do. So now, the part that is most important to us is that if you know Comrade Adams Oshomole, and you saw what he did in 2016, and the things he said, he waived his own immunity and asked that he be sued to court if he was lying. Nobody ever sued him for libel. Nobody ever sued him for slander, for statements he made live on top of the stage. And those statements still today are still on social media. They are still being used over and over and over to buttress, you know, the argument that the PDP is putting forward about the APC candidate.
But is it true that Zamo is not a lawyer?
You would expect.
Is it true he's not a pastor?
I've told you I'm not going to go into that.
Is he not a lawyer?
Please don't go into that with me. Please don't. Please don't. Those questions are for Osage Ezeamu himself to answer.
But he's a lawyer. His name is on the roll.
Please. Now, you see, so what you're seeing is pretty obvious. We're not going to start, substantiating what Comrade Oshomole said in 2016. It is not our business to do so. Those who know the truth, know the truth. Now, we know for a fact, which is a fact, that Oshomole was never sued for libel or for slander. We know that for a fact. We know for a fact that the candidate of the APC himself, on a television interview, has actually explained or gave an explanation of what happened in Uniben. He gave an explanation. So for anybody to come here and try and rewrite history is funny. But like I said, this is not only just about character. It's not just about character. It's also about the circumstance in which the character emerges.
Okay.
Now, if you look at Edo State as it were now, look at the characters at play and the circumstances in which we find ourselves. We are finding ourselves in a situation where you have a dwindling revenue source. As a result of COVID-19, oil resources are dwindling. You need a character who has the ability to manage those dwindling resources in the best possible way. That's Mr. Godwin Obaseki. That was the reason that in 2016, he was chosen above all the others. Because it was pretty obvious where the global economy was going to. And it is even worse now than it was in 2016. The circumstances and the reasons that brought up Mr. Godwin Obaseki have not changed in the world. But now look at what's happening in Edo State and look at Nigeria. The National Bureau of Statistics just came out with figures. Nigeria's headline inflation is 18.3%. That's Nigeria's headline inflation. Edo State is 9.2. You see?
It has always been like that for Edo State.
Edo State is 9.2. Edo State went from 11.4 to 9.2
Edo,
from 2016.
Lagos, and the
also, look at the unemployment. National Bureau of Statistics unemployment. Nigeria went from 21% to 28.7%. Edo State went from 21.8% in 2016 to 18.3% this year in 2020. I mean, this is National Bureau of Statistics. It's nobody making up the stories. The National Bureau of Statistics is a federal body under a federal government that is APC. And they are the ones saying this. Look at Edo Best, our educational strategy. Rwanda has sent a delegation to come and copy it. We've gotten awards from the National Union of Teachers as the best educational system in Nigeria.
Okay.
Lagos State government, the Lagos State
if he's making all these curious remarks, I'll be first to also respond.
The Lagos State governor came out and said, this system that Edo has deployed is the best I've seen, and we are going to copy it.
Okay, thank you.
Lagos State governor is an APC governor.
Thank you. You made a point. You made a point. Your final words on this segment.
Well, Edo people should not look at propaganda. This election will not be won on propaganda or on swiftness of how you can talk. It will be won on what they feel. Is your life better today than it was in 2016? That is a question. Do your children have more jobs today or better jobs today than they had in 2016? Is your business flourishing more today than your business was in 2016? He mentioned Edo jobs before. It's a complete scam because the former chief of staff to Obaseki, the former chief, please, I allowed you have the floor. I allowed you have the floor. It is my opinion.
Now, please, let's be guarded, please. Let's be guarded. Let's be guarded. I said your final words, and I was expecting that you'll be wrapping up on the discussion and what you expect from the electorate. You were doing that quite all right.
That's what I have said, and that's what I'm stating.
Please.
I'm saying that a job is not what they claim it is.
But on your final words, I was not expecting you to go into that because that will also lead into more issues that will be discussed.
I needed to just clear it so that people will be aware. The former chief of staff to Obaseki, one of the reasons why
okay, thank you. Leave all that.
The former chief of staff,
you have 30 seconds to please wrap up your final words.
Maybe I should keep quiet.
We shouldn't open
because when he was talking,
I wouldn't want you to open other issues. We are wrapping up.
I am saying that this government has lied to Edo people, has been run on pure propaganda. Edo people should look at themselves. Are they better today than they were 4 years ago? Is your life better today than it was 4 years ago? Do your children have better jobs today than they had 4 years ago? Is your business flourishing more today than it was 4 years ago? Those are the questions they should look at. They should not look at paper. What they have as achievement, they're mostly on paper. When you talk about Edo job, when you talk about Edo best and things like that. Primary 6 exam under this government, they were a complete failure on the part of Edo students.
Okay, thank you.
If you have Edo
I think that was final words.
Why are our students failing now? Our students, Edo used to be number 2 in education under Dr. Shomole. What number are we in today?
Thank you.
So
I think that as a final words. Thank you for taking our time to be part of this show.
Thank you very much.
Your final words on this in 1 minute.
I know that the market women are very happy, and the traders, they are very happy.
No, they're not happy. They're not happy. They were sent to jail.
He has 1 minute. Let him just wrap up. 1 minute.
They don't have touts who are cutting tickets for them and threatening them.
No, Puwok replace the touts.
We know that.
Because the Obaseki institutionalized toutism in his government.
Please let him finish.
We know that the
no, I need to make that point. It's clear.
Bus drivers no longer have to fear hooligans who are threatening them and taking their money from them. We know that people who are building in the suburbs or who are buying new properties and so on no longer have to fear unnecessary intimidation by CDAs. We know. So that these are the things. We know that people who are setting up businesses are getting assistance from government.
There's no assistance from anybody.
Production centers and so on.
Complete scam.
These are facts.
Please, let's not use that word, please. Let's not use that word, please.
These are facts.
Please.
And it is very obvious that when you see how the opposition, the way they comport themselves in public, the way they speak, you know, you can tell what kind of government.
No need to go there, please. No need to go there. Just. I think you started well. You started well, please. Please just wrap up. Wrap up. You still have 10 seconds.
You can tell a party that has its ideas in the right place. You can tell a leader that has its focus, and it is about the people.
Okay, thank you.
It's not about a small clique of us.
Thank you. Big thanks, Prince Greg Okiogwa, for taking our time to be part of this show, and big thanks.
Thank you very much, Philip.
Daniel Ogbegye, for taking our time. Well, the die will be cast at the election day, which is barely 4 days from now, September 19. And again, I reiterate that opinions made on this show are the opinions of the makers and not that of independent television. And this is all about you, voter, ensuring that you exercise your franchise on that day, come this week, Saturday, September 19, and your PVC is your tool. Your PVC is your weapon, and you will decide on who takes the mantle for the next 4 years as the governor of Edo State at Usadabe Avenue. That is solely yours, and we say no to vote buying, we say no to violence, we say no to any social vice that could that could harm the democracy that we have in Nigeria, and particularly in Edo State. Big thanks for joining me on this discussion segment on TMI Tuesday. I'm Philip Omo Gyupon. Good morning.